Can you guys, can everyone hear me? Okay. Just want to make sure everyone can hear me because obviously, yeah, I haven't got my headphones in. Yeah, cool. Audio is good. That's good, 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 good. Right. And then there's some rock music in the background, so you can enjoy that as well. Right. Let me just hide this there, put this there, and then let's have a look through what has been happening. So, geopolitical wise, it's almost, yeah, it's one of those where we've just got to kind of treat everything how we're kind of looking at it from session to session. We don't want to, try and guess what's going to happen because, yeah, that's obviously where it can go completely wrong. So, if we're looking at where the dollar is, we obviously had this crash, right, which was 100% market manipulation. We're obviously now trading within this level here, all right? Stocks are obviously still climbing, which is good for obviously any businessman, congressman, potential presidents, and the price of oil is staying now went from 100, now it's back in the 80s, which again is good for businesses. It's just wrong, but it is what it is. So obviously dollar was at a price where it could take it, but I wouldn't say, if we're looking, like I explained yesterday, this was obviously if we class this as the big kind of dump hit here, and obviously then you look at the price action afterwards, all right, which is pretty much, stayed in and around. If there was a change in course, a change um, you know, in market sentiment, then we would be expecting this probably to be trading down here. So I'm actually still looking at this as dollar holding. I think, one of the key kind of levels here will be 99. I think if this breaks, yes, we'll then obviously, see a bit of a trend. But if we were to draw this trend out, it's looking a bit like this, and then we're kind of doing this, right? Because markets need to make their mind up about where it's going to head and why. So I wouldn't even say 99 500 breaking is going to get me excited again. I'd say we got two levels here, 199. These are the two, kind of levels here which are important. This meaning dollar will be firmly back on top because it would have engulfed this and prices will be back to where they were before Trump's tweet. Or obviously, if we do get this break here, then well, obviously, no, the dollar is back in a downtrend. But as you've probably seen, everyone is struggling with the same issues here: high inflation. All right. And then what they called stagflation, which is low growth but higher inflation. So these are obviously the worries on the card. If you don't understand stagflation, I did do a video on it. I think it was last Sunday. So go back and obviously watch that one because it'll help. Yields here, same. Still, I wouldn't class these in a downtrend either. I would class these as holding the highs. We've obviously got this area here. I would class these as holding the highs. So obviously this gives dollar a little bit of help. It's almost like an extra booster on a rocket ship, on the dollar rocket ship, and obviously yields are obviously that extra booster. They're quite a big one. So them obviously staying high again. If there was issues here, we would have yields trading down here, but obviously we don't. They are holding. We had this one big move here, top and bottom. Where are we trading? We're trading in between this move here, so no one really knows where anything's going. And obviously it's not a markets to kind of capitalize on, what we potentially could capitalize on, so as expected, inflation coming out like everyone else's as expected, slightly higher. So yeah, no surprises here at all. We've got Um, Everything else today, we got Lagarde speaking, very, very boring. Doesn't really say anything out of the ordinary. Um, and then nothing else, So we've got some import export. Expect the prices to be a little bit higher because of obviously oil. So and obviously crude oil in inventories might be interesting, might not be. We obviously know that they're not going to be as high because there is a reduction in obviously the amount of oil being distributed to everybody. So sorry, I have to say my T's because I've got someone who looks after my YouTube, and they were commenting that rather than me saying strategy, I'm like strategy. So yeah, and then obviously we got Trump speaking a bit later on. So yeah, let's wait and see. Right, how have we set up this morning? All right, so still happy. I like these. We've obviously got our highs here on the pound. It was very, very messy price action. So I think actually, if you look at the price action, look at how well we did yesterday. We did very, very well. So this is obviously where my entry is here, but obviously anywhere in this zone, I am happy. This is the zone where I'm looking for a turnaround here. So happy, happy. But yeah, would like our trade to trigger. We then obviously got euro coming up here. Like we said, we obviously want dollar to weaken slightly. All right, I'd love dollar to come into this area here because that's going to trigger our trades. That's where we want it. And this is one thing that I think I'm really, really hot on, and what makes us completely different. I like to pre-plan how I want, markets to act, and then obviously us pre-planning them. When a trade executes, we obviously understand that, we have planned it, so we've wanted this to happen. Markets have acted exactly how we've wanted, rather than hopping in like there's going to be, what is everyone going to be doing on these candles here? They're going to be buying. All right. Does it surprise me that price has pumped from here? No, because we're going to have lots of people seeing this and buying here. Yeah. So, but obviously then what is the overall, markets look at? They obviously look at, for example, the report that I posted, and they'll be wanting price to drive higher. So then they can obviously capture all of this and then pump it, in the direction they want it. Hopefully, it doesn't always work out like that. Euro popping up nicely. Aussie, I'm not sure that this one's going to trigger this morning, so it might be a one if we reevaluate, go slightly more aggressive a bit later on. We've got gold. I really, really want this to trigger. I like where it is. So obviously that's a good one. We did really, really well yesterday morning on gold, so I'd like another one. Mm. I'm actually enjoying one position on gold because it's making me, enjoy trading it again. So yeah, and then obviously USDJPY, so again, look how messy the price action is here. It's not clean, not clean at all, So you've only got to look at, trending to the upside, clear lower low here, lower high, and then we've got a higher low, So what it looks like is this is being squeezed, all right? It's a classic kind of flag pattern. So if I was to clean this chart, what I don't obviously normally like patterns. I don't trade off of them, but I do like watching flags, and I don't know why, because what happens is price gets squeezed. All right. So price gets squeezed, and you get more and more orders here as it gets squeezed. All right. You get more and more. There's loads of buys, loads of sells. They're battling against each other. So when it breaks out, it normally breaks out huge. All right, because one, it's almost like a water barrier, and you've got obviously massive waves coming this way, massive waves coming this way. But when one of them kind of ticks over and overthrows, this one just goes. So yeah, that's kind of why I do, like obviously monitoring, flag patterns more than anything. It's almost yeah, like a bob ball. The quicker it hits each side, the obviously more it goes, and then once it breaks, it'll be gone. So yeah, you guys get the idea of my flag pattern. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at today. I think it might be very very similar to yesterday morning, where we hopefully we're going to get gold trigger, euro trigger, and pound. I do think pound is going to trigger, and I do like where pound is. So yeah, does anyone have any questions? Any questions, or are we all happy? We're all prepped up. These are hopefully, yeah, like I'd said, these are macro reports in the morning. They're quite brief, but obviously, hopefully they're helping because it's going to obviously give everyone a real overview of why, the background as to what we are, looking at and why. So yeah. But yeah, cool. Right. If there's no questions, I hope everyone has a great day. We've got some shutters being delivered here today. We had you guys can't see it. I obviously hide in the lounge in the mornings, but we got a big media wall here with fire underneath it, and then we got blinds. It's a busy household. So yeah, but no, have a great morning, everyone. We'll smash it. We're gonna stay rigid. And yeah, let's make sure that we, continue our green run. So yeah, have a good one, guys. Have a good one.